Hi, hello, good afternoon. And this afternoon on Sunday, the day after Labor Day, as you guys know, every Labor Day we hold special protests or we hold gatherings and all at Hong Lim Park. But for the second year running, we are not able to do it due to the COVID-19 situation. And now there's a resurgence of case. So we are doing this live special. As you can see, I'm Prabu here, and as usual, Dr. Michael Fang joins me, and our special guest today is none other than Uncle Leong Sze Hian. So hi.
First, I must say a disclaimer. I'm only the guest today, okay? And they forced me to sit right in the middle because they say, the one middle will get sued if they are sued. I'm only the guest today. I'm not the host, I'm not the organizer.
Yeah, don't worry, we are keeping social distancing, yeah?
Yeah, we are quite far apart. Actually, this screen looks small, but actually...
I understand now the fine is not $200, $10,000. Is it?
Yeah, the price has gone up to $10,000. Part of the new, what do you call that? The new measures that kicks into place. It's quite funny, They say that you can gather up to 6 or 8 people at one time, but keep it to 2 gatherings per day. But what if people who are meeting people one-on-one or one-on-two, something like client discussion? So how does that go and factor into the numbers? I wonder.
Well, I saw one button. I cannot go on 63,000. So I need to be fined 26 times to get to 263,000, right?
Oh my goodness, I'm lost for words.
Oh, you're like the new minister, no? The new minister was the big one. And then he said something like, when somebody called me to tell me that I will be moved to a minister for different ministry, I was wordless. It wasn't me, wordless. Michael is more like you.
Lost for words, yeah.
Lost for words.
Yes, so it's a bit like speechless, it's a bit like an unexpected element. Yes, I agree with that. So it was a bit unexpected that they would switch around at this stage because normally we expect the ministers to want their portfolios and discharge their duties as responsibly as they can. Yes, indeed.
So you think other than this minister, could it be that there were others who won't even know that they're about to be reshuffled?
It appears so. It appears so. Yes, indeed, it is. It is. And we get ministers in education, transport. Yeah, it's being shuffled around. Yeah.
The one who got shifted to health minister, right?
Oh, back timing of it. This guy is the Mr. Fix-It Ong Kang, is the Mr. Fix-It of this generation. Previously before him was Minister Khaw Boon Wan, was sent between health to Ministry of Transport. Then transport have problems. He was there. MRT breakdowns. Now, just nice to go back the second surgeons of COVID and the Tan Tock Seng Hospital incidents. And with regards to the Tan Tock Seng Hospital incident, I would like to find out, everyone is asking whether the vaccine worked or not, because the doctors and nurses got both jabs and then they got infected. But my question is, despite the vaccine works or not, right, what happened to the other measures of personal protection equipment, gloves, masks, goggles? Don't tell me despite all this, still can get infected.
Well, since I got the COVID-19 and wordless, at 2:10 p.m. today, the MLS website still wordless about the COVID-19 update. And somebody just told me just now, said still don't have it. If any of you listening discover that MLS are already updated on COVID-19 situation, please give us a buzz. You got a place where people can type chat or anything or not? Don't have it.
Okay. Because someone mentioning that the volume not good. Let me go in.
Volume not good. That means either speak louder or move nearer or don't speak at all. Become wordless.
Okay. Hold on. Let me check.
Okay, one problem is figure the volume. How are you, Michael?
Okay, I'm okay. I'm just keeping safety measures, in case of COVID. And basically, every one of us is in Singapore trying to get along with life and, try and keep the numbers down. However, I think they're still importing, as far as I know, probably in the afternoon or early morning today, they were still importing cases in from India, and Nepal also, we can see the flights there, right? We've seen the messages circulating that the flights there were there and they're incoming and it's listed. So this thing, I don't think there's any much dispute on that, yeah. And the problem is, we could have the best healthcare systems in the world, but you keep pressing the button and trying to play a Russian roulette with the number of cases coming from India. I mean, there has to be a point where some probabilistic chances will break through, right? And all it takes is a few cases for it to balloon and spread like what we've seen in India, right? So we must know that there are clear and present dangers that are present in importing Indians when the case is outblown. So it's nothing to do with race or anything like that. It's a more matter of practicalities. I mean, if even China were have this, I mean, we'll also say the same thing. Or US would have this, we'll say the same thing. Yeah, so it's equal treatment for everyone in regards to health care issues. Yeah. So the new variant is extremely dangerous from India, right? So not only does it spread fast, it kills, right? As we have seen what happens in India after just a couple of days of election polling and engineering, and we see these things happening. And so people who are taken to the streets or exposed will spread to each other, and they will essentially die. So our number is high, but the second issue is that in Singapore, our BOR is also high. Our bed occupancy rate is also high for the hospitals, right? So presumably for reasons of profitability is one thing. So with the high basal BOR rate, that would, other than translating in profits, that will also translate to high occupancy rate, which means that less space available for emergency or backup cases, right? Which in this time we need one way or another. So that is what we noted from public hospitals, and also Sengkang and SGH hospitals have been pouring reports that they're not they're trying not to accept new patients simply because they're trying to cope with the pandemic. So of course we urge the public to follow the advice and basically try and relieve the stress of the healthcare system. But the burden should not be totally on us as well, because while we are trying our best, our very best in Singapore, yet we are facing an influx from infected cases, probably the source of which is coming from abroad. So we sent out an appeal basically to stop this influx, right? Whether temporary or on a long-term basis, that we might actually want to consider by carefully screening who has COVID and so forth. That I think would be in the greater interest of our healthcare system and of Singaporeans, right? Which is what people like us, right? People in TV, whether as candidates or as people, general men on the street, that's what we feel should be carried out. So we stand in line with the general men on the street. Yeah. And back to Leong Sze Hian, how about your case right now?
Before I talk about this you have been a medical doctor, what you just mentioned about COVID-19 is very important. Let me ask you one question. You talk about imported cases, right? I just read recently that Singaporeans and Indians coming back from one country, they need to take a test before they board the plane. How is it possible that they have such a policy? All along, I think Singaporeans and myself, we all find that everybody who has come from Singapore would have been tested first, right?
Well, yes. So basically, we focus the question back to the testing. So basically, I have a medical degree trained, and basically was practicing as a doctor. So right now, the question is, why were there, Singaporean citizens who maybe are PRs and even come back? It may not be direct, but it could be linked to the principles and our core underlying principles and understanding that we have there. So, as to the effect whether such a movement of natural persons would actually be so-called helpful to the Singaporean cause of Singaporean people is actually quite questionable, yeah. Of course, we're not discouraging trade or the thing that bring the numbers and the economic goodies for Singaporeans. So the replacement of Singaporeans, I'm not exactly sure if that would be actually very beneficial to our cause, because in this kind of economy we have a job to tailor to and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, the answer is very wrong, and that's why you got called out. Okay, now answer your question. You asked for my case, right? Yes. Dear Singaporeans, you have been amazing. In the last 33 days, you have crowdfunded $330,000. This is, history in the making. Never before have Singaporeans come forward, in such a big way, in crowdfunding for such a cause. Thank you very, very much.
Actually, we should do our part also to raise a bit more of the funds for Leong. Not simply because whether the rightness or wrongness of the suit, but rather because this is a fight for internet freedom. We will post things, right, as a standing principle for all of us, right? So it's a fight for all of us. So that we can actually safely post and share, right, and show the public that it is not wrong to simply post and share a simple posting, right? Yeah, which no opinions were so-called kind of expressed. Yeah.
Well, Prabu, thank you so much for inviting me to the Mexican email 2 months ago.
Chicanos is located at 33 Bali Lane, and we had a good Mexican dinner there with a couple of my friends in the banking and finance industry. It was a good night.
The food very good, and very well. The kitchen very, very hot. In fact, the boss came out and told us that if you really hungry, you can buy the guy that took 30 minutes now to eat this. So now they're really, I think they are very wonderful.
Because that's what happens in free market business trades and all. Like you see, good price, right? The food very good. The wait is long. Then those were the food not so good. The market speaks for itself. So similarly, I would say that with regards to the COVID-19 numbers and the resurgence of the case, I always like you very much, because the numbers speak for itself and the concept.
The 330,000 in 33 days, the one already is the phenomenal.
Yeah, and what I was earlier on mentioning was due to the people like Calvin Cheng mentioning it. Singaporeans should limit social activities, but at the same time we must remain open. What does it mean by remain open? I mean, remain open, I mean for trade or goods coming in and going out. We are open enough, but we have to limit people, because people cannot be treated like commodities or goods at this time of a pandemic, and this seems to be the big issue. And then he went around telling people, hey, come by Nepal, come by UAE, come by a third country. Now eventually he might have indirectly caused, taking into account that he mentioned all these places, also the international went there, and he might have actually caused the surge of cases in these countries as well, thanks to Calvin Cheng.
Yeah, so what you said, I think I will say that the numbers that we're talking about, I think the MOH updates should have been out by now, 325 already. So we will see, we look forward to seeing the numbers and what the numbers that we're talking.
It's about 3.5 right now, 3.24 right now in fact, but I do not see the MOH numbers out yet. That is normally they are about noon, they are out there, the MOH numbers.
Yes, there's one question or check one more. So you can, how MOH update come out, let us know then.
Comments I hear,
the only comments volume, nothing else.
volume not good, but I've really settled that already, but because I can see the volume, and so where the numbers are actually important to us in these reports is that it relates back to the people on the street, people like you and I, right? So there is no difference, right, in the stance that I'm taking, and that there's no difference between you and I, and maybe Uncle Leong and maybe Prabu. But we represent the common man of the street, and we hope the voices can be heard. And politics aside, right, concern for and care for the man of the street is the most important thing that is hogging our minds right now. Because what I would like to actually mention is like, it was mostly ordinary people that came out to support Uncle Leong in his original 133,000 damages paid to the Prime Minister, then followed by Ron Nguyen's 144 remaining out of his 150, and in your case, people have been keep on asking me, like, hey, you only got 133,000, but this is where I need clarification. The 133 is damages to the Prime Minister, followed by the 130 is currently the legal and the disbursement, the cost towards the so-called experts from, where was that guy from again?
It's a Hong Kong expert. Just the court, the disbursement relating to his Zoom testimony for like a few hours was $40,000. So, his hearing was 2.5 days. His cost was 29,000. My hearing, his hearing was 3 days, 29,000. My hearing shortened 2.5 days, shortened by half a day. My cost of disbursement was 129,000 plus. Is like, more than 4 times longer hearing.
Then it's rather, so you earlier mentioned the breakdown, so they did not give you a breakdown, they gave you a whole chunky page of that.
I believe the video cost 318 pages.
380 pages in plain. My goodness,
Was there a consolidated statement that you could release?
Well, I really, after reading a few pages, my eye tired. Like you say, I try to focus on the more important things, like you send me a 18-page thing, okay, we know that, like I said, the number is the talking, we know the number, okay, cost and disbursement is 139,000 plus, okay, right? I get a time to go through the 118 pages, what is this, what is transport, and what is, printing, what is translation, and what is Hong Kong, okay, yeah.
so any of you guys, I can see totally there's about 11 over people watching live, so you guys have, I see, Mr. Mohammed Latifi, bro, the sound is bad, can't hear the discussion. Oh, someone say volume too loud, can hear, cannot hear. First someone say sound is bad, then another one say volume too loud, audio bad.
I will assume that the sound would be...
Audio is distorted, not clear. Okay, double volume speaking, okay, let me settle this issue. So I need to know, is it too loud or too soft? You say go offline, set up audio and come back. I think, okay, because when I did a check from my phone, I can see it was quite okay. So hold on, let me see what I can do.
You can hear after our press even wanting to get 160 so it's normal. Singapore normally don't get to hear what they really need to hear.
No, we should try and show a little bit of clarity. Maybe we can check with tech site support, yeah?
Okay, please adjust volume on your just ended discussing among yourself. Hold on. Okay, I will go and check the audio. Yeah. Give me a moment. Let me see how does it pan out on the live itself.
Well, probably you don't have Hong Kong expert to do audio.
Because this is like you can see a normal setup out there, right?
Oh, okay.
Understand? That's fine. As long as the gist of the content gets through, yeah? So basically, we are trying to basically raise more awareness for Leong's cause, right? And basically, so people, the public can understand what difficulties it has in raising the funds, yeah? Today is May the 2nd, and I believe salaries will come in May the 1st, May the 7th, and we're trying our best, yeah? Because if it is, it's actually everybody's push, right, to get more internet freedom, and we can actually, just simply share a post, right, without getting into trouble, yes. So that is what we feel is important to most, if not all Singaporeans, yeah. Yeah, and if it's everybody's responsibility to take part, then I'm sure a kind-hearted gesture will help Leong out his troubles. I'm sure he will be more tactful next time when he does a post or anything, must be more accurate, probably. But I feel that it's an opinion, right? And opinions do count. And you can post anything to say the truth.
So maybe you all should go to leongzehian.com and go and see his website. there's hundreds of thousands of articles written across.
Hello, 100,000, 2,000, and the website actually has been dormant the day I was sued in December 2018. So I'm very active on Facebook, and now my website is actually, dormant.
Oh, okay, but however, the website where you got a lot of images.
Yeah. So let me say this. We knew right from the beginning that David and Goliath battle will be a very long, protracted, and a very hard-fought one. Okay. So we are prepared. We just have to soldier on, one day at a time. Okay, like many people, every day the people send me the same message, 3 words, with an exclamation mark, never give up. But at this stage, let me make an announcement. At 5 p.m. today, I am going to post on my Facebook a link where you can download my ebook, Issues That Matter, Uniquely Singapore F1 or F9. Okay, it's my ebook. You can download I will post on my Facebook at 5 p.m. today. I hope you enjoy reading it, and I hope that you can write something, share with your friends, your comments about what you will read. Thank you.
So I was mentioning about your website now. Of all the things that you wrote, you did not get sued. But you go and click Facebook, share, someone else wrote it was on a news site and you got sued.
I did know when I was sued that I created history. I'm the first person in the history of the world to be sued for sharing on Facebook a news report from a news website without any comment.
Terrible, terrible. So, with that being said, I hope people stay safe, and wherever you guys are, don't go to the crowded areas. And I mean, now that a lot of things we are talking about, the government stance, the government stance was like, oh, you are xenophobic, you cannot say that you call for bans from flight from India, and what they do the next few days, they call for ban on flight. It's the U-turn flip-flop syndrome. Last year was like no need to wear mask. They ran a 2 months campaign on the newspapers. They say no need to wear mask. Only if you are feeling unwell, wear a mask. To flip-flop to wear mask. So I do not know why is this the case. Every time there's no clear path. There's always like pain here, pain there.
Well, on what you just said, I just saw, Gilbert Go. You tell them what I saw, Gilbert Go. You tell them.
Well, Gilbert Go was putting up some sort of like a placard at the front of the ICA or at the back of the ICA building at the Crawford area, calling for a ban of flight from India, and it's not racist, just being cautious or something along that line.
We must salute, Gilbert Go for his courage. It looks like he's not scared.
But do you think?
Because John one Smiley also got charged for illegal assembly.
Do you think along this week he might either be arrested or maybe they call him out for Kopi for what he did?
No, I don't think so because I think he's probably saying what everybody is saying we have to be very cautious right? COVID-19 very serious. Okay, after another lockdown, the people can die. Today the news come out, one person just died in Tan Tock Seng Hospital. Right? Yeah.
To be fair, to be fair, placard holding is it's actually carried out. If you notice, there's some internet instances by both sides of the political spectrum. But to say the truth again, yes, it is not in line with our current ruling and laws. Yeah, but I mean the practice has been on the ground. So sometimes the application as well as the selective use of the law is a bit of a question, isn't it? I mean, if you want to do, you do for both. If you don't do for both. Yes, I think it should be fairly applied. I think most Singaporeans will agree. But fairness aside, well, we need we do need to get on with our lives as well as the economic livelihood and things like that. So we do hope that the COVID situation eases, and everybody can get on with the opening of the economy sooner or later. Yeah. So for that, we need to keep in line with strict measures that are being imposed, and we wish everyone well. Yeah. In all the things, and just don't forget to mask up. Yeah, in public. So when you're not eating or drinking or holding a drink or whatever. Yeah. So I mean, of course, reasonable allowances and also have to be made. Yeah.
Well, listen to the doctor's advice. Apple a day keeps the doctor away. At this point, since we're talking about doctors, I must thank profusely Dr. Ang Yong Guan. Every morning I wake up, he sends me a poster, a new poster, supporting me. And in this morning was a 16th day, for 16 consecutive days, he has been making a poster for me, every morning. And as to Michael's, mention of holding a placard, I give you a tip. The safer way is like me, I wear a T-shirt that says "Suit for sharing" on Facebook, or a torn in a small way for a very long time. So that one not placard, only T-shirt. I think much safer. Okay, yeah, Prabu is you about to say something.
I was about to bring up, like, your live that you do every Wednesday and all your interesting T-shirt, but you can wear it in public, right? You won't get into trouble.
So far, no, I cannot think of any law that can get you into trouble just for wearing a T-shirt that says, "Suit for sharing" on Facebook, or torn in a small way for a very long time. Anyway, I have these, people only gave me these two T-shirts only, I mean, I don't have like many T-shirts, many weddings. You only gave me these two only.
Anyway, yes, I agree. I think let's give a round of thanks to Dr. Ang Yong Guan, who has made such a sincere, kind-hearted gestures, right? As well as to maybe Leong Man Wai also.
Yeah.
Has been out with support.
Dr. Ang Yong Guan, special thanks, because I've been every day seeing your update on the poster with regards to helping Uncle Leong raise his funds towards, right now towards your new trench. What is the amount out of the 130,000 you've already hit about, like?
As of last night, it was 53,000 plus, so still about 70,000 to go.
Okay, because remember, there is statistically, there is about 900 over 1,000 people who did not vote for PAP, but there are PAP people, people who voted for PAP about 1.3 to 1.4 million who also would not believe that, you should get sued for something which is not your original content, you are not the author, writer, or the editor or the publisher, you just share from a news site this part. So definitely we have to make an appeal to reach out, and so far the campaign has been online. Shall we take the campaign offline by flyers and distributing, like,
No, I think, I'm very tired already. It has been, tremendously heartbreaking, heartwarming, but truly very, very tiring, right? Because, thousands of people have written to me. I try my best to reply, engage, every one of them. And when you reply to the person, then he will reply back to you, then you enter in the conversation. I hope you can see that my eyes are very tired, especially my fingers also, because I try to like every comment that I see. I try to like every share that I see. So I've done this maybe 40,000 already. But although I'm very tired, I will keep going, because online, perhaps one of the most instantaneous way I can show my appreciation is to respond to what you write to me, and to respond to your comment, and to respond to your sharing of the post. Thank you very much. I'm really very grateful.
On the 28th of April, actually, when you were live with Terry Su, that was when the timing of it, right? They were the Ministry of Manpower released the employment data, because I always look forward to your thoughts on the employment data, and I see that there has been slight improvement from December, but when you compare it to March, it is one of the worst March data in many years to come. Your thoughts on that, the unemployment numbers?
Yeah, the latest unemployment number released on April 28, yesterday was Labor Day, is the number of unemployed residents is now 95,500. I cannot verify the number, but I think Prabu must have done his research. You check all the March going back every year, and this March is the worst one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This much not too good. So
Prabu asked me for a comment. The unemployed figure may have improved a bit, but I understand if you go on the ground, there's a great deal of underemployment. A lot of people are working in gig jobs, delivery, private hire drivers. A lot of people, and the problem today is this: the amount of help that you get from the government now is much less than last year. For example, if you were self-employed last year, you have gotten $9,000 of assistance. Now, this year, starting from January, for self-employed, the only assistance if you want to have, right, compared to what I just said last year, 9,000 for last year, is you have to have your income cut by at least 50% for 3 consecutive months. Then you can apply and you're given at least $500 a month for 3 months.
I would like to mention about this part. The Labour Chief or the Secretary General of NTUC, Mr. Ng Chee Meng, who actually got voted out of his seat as an MP in Sengkang GRC, he mentioned that now we need to ring fence HR jobs for Singaporeans. But why is this only being done now compared to like all these years? So are they telling us all these years HR job was not ring fenced for Singaporeans and people from other nationalities could become HR in companies in Singapore, and which eventually led to hiring of their own country personnel? Yeah.
Indeed, that is a big problem, as you can see very much on the ground. I think a lot of people from their visual observations might agree with me, but some might disagree, but we have to take it that from what I see is that that appears to be what's happening, That was my personal observation. Yeah, so that's true. Actually, reserving, actually I came up with an idea, right, in my book, that we reserve basically all HR management positions, right, for Singaporeans, and if possible, release the entire HR sector, right, towards the employing Singaporeans only, right, with a stringent set of HR practices that at least, that is at least unbiased to begin with. So it operates like this, right? We could have a system, like for example, you employ an accountant from external agencies, right, to certify that your company follows HR practices. So this one can be done, right? So we do it a professional HR way. That's a very good idea, because by doing so, we easily free up all the available HR jobs in that sector for Singaporeans, right? Wouldn't that be a great idea? Suddenly you have a huge bolus and lots of jobs for Singaporeans, which we need them now. So, and this will also help to standardize the HR practices across the industry and make sure no favoritism, right, of foreigners by their own ilk should come in. So, I mean, it's fair if you consider both of the merits. I mean, and possibly if we can take a pro-Singapore stance to slightly favor Singaporean citizens. Don't need to be born in Singapore, just need to have Singapore citizenship, right, whether you're new or old, right? So this would be a good proposition.
So, media, they are once again, as LinkedIn keeps posting online, that they are behind the curve, because the foreign talent policies, the SECA policies all came in at about year 2000 to mid 2000s, which is about a good 15 to 20 years, and now they come and tell us that we need to ring fence. That means all along, Singaporean jobs was not being ring fenced, but what we have been told is, yes, that's a good word, we have been exposed, but what we have been told is, hey, while your jobs are exposed for competition, you cannot be racist, you cannot be xenophobic. This was what we have been told for a good coming to 20 years, which is absurd, I find.
Racism has been noted by, I've seen some reports, right, basically stating that racism It's used as excuse, right? It's used as excuse to justify an argument when you're not winning. Sometimes there are sometimes, and other xenophobic ones, which anything you're not xenophilic, you're xenophobic. So good example would be Mr. Kevin Chang, right? Was it him?
Kelvin Cheng,
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not sure if he's truly Singaporean or not, but you look at his posters, it seems to be overly xenophilic, yeah, and he pushes the interest of foreigners and foreigner lives far above Singaporeans. Yeah. I mean, that is obvious. I look at his posters.
I'd like to give
I mean, that is in my opinion. Yeah. So strictly, this is an impresarium, not a so-called stating of fact discussion. This is an impresarium for the fact that basically we are looking at, yeah, and that comes out on regular media. So ours is the impresarium.
we are having a live, robust discussion actually. So I'm like, we'll be quite happy if you guys can contribute to the discussion by typing online. We are looking and we are responding. Okay, I've seen Latifi mention like regarding the flight or people from India. If the government, if not ban, or at least they should be cautious of them, because these people are good in faking things like vaccinations. I mean, okay, for years and years, right, we've had things like not just restricted to India. We've got things like fake degrees, fake diplomas coming from anywhere and everywhere in the world apart from Singapore. Like Singaporeans, I don't believe that they would do such things. Fake degrees, fake diplomas. So what is to stop them from faking negative results of the cert, or things like vaccination, like haven't get vaccination to fake or already vaccinated? Yeah, this is very dangerous. Is because all you need is a printer and you need a template which you can get it online. This is a very scary part, and it all comes down to civil and moral ethics.
I think, arguably, we always debate about all kinds of things. But like Prabhu said, let the numbers do the talking. Since it's just after Labor Day, let me give you some very sad, numbers. 158,600 full-time workers earn less than $1,500 a month. 4,000 full-time employed residents earn less than $500 a month. Okay, and if you include the part-time workers, you're looking at 300,000, people who earn less than $1,500. And these numbers are including the employee CPF of typically 20%. So you take away the 20%, right, from 1,500, you're looking at about take-home pay cash of $1,200 for 158,600, full-time workers. These are not part-time workers. In Singapore, part-time worker is supposed to go up to 35 hours, right? And the bottom line is this, Labor Day, we can say what we want, we have a new scheme to help workers, we have so many schemes to help us, we protect workers, we have this, we have that. But look at the most saddening number, about 1 in 10 Singaporeans, full-time and part-time workers, earn less than $1,000. 3 in 10 earn less than $1,500. 3 in 10 less than $2,500, and 4 in 10 less than $3,000. So the numbers, let number two are talking. How come we have so many Singaporeans who earn so, little, right? All the talk about protecting workers, new scheme to help workers, they all I wouldn't say of no use, but look at the bottom line number. What are the numbers telling you?
So the numbers are telling that, are the schemes effective? I would like to question is, are the schemes effective, efficient? Are the schemes doing their jobs in protecting the numbers? And speaking of the numbers, what actually hit close to me was Sengkang General Hospital and Singapore General Hospital, Sengkang Hospital and Singapore SGH. After the Tan Tock Seng issue of surge of cases, their bed capacities are operating at full. So has this got anything to do with years and years where Singapore being the only country where the government does not spend money from a net cash flow perspective, but instead take more money from the people with regards to healthcare, which is the public hospitals, HDB, which is the public housing and pensions. So this part you have been telling this years and years on hand. Has this part got to do specifically with the healthcare that the government, from a net cash flow perspective, not spending but instead receiving more from the people?
The problem is saying what I've been saying for years, which is arguably the mother of all Singaporeans' problems. Because from a cash flow perspective, the government may not be spending any money on CPF, HDB, or healthcare. Cash flow perspective means the inflow to the government is more than the outflows. I mean, very simple, right? I mean, you look at CPF is the easiest, right? It's our own contribution. So the inflows to the government obviously exceed the outflows. HDB also very similar, right? The inflows to the government also, exceed the outflows. Although they say they lose money every year selling flats, but the bulk of the price for HDB BTO flats goes to the charging land at market rates. So actually, it's just transferring from one government agency to another. It is still an inflow to the government. It does not. It's not an outflow. And healthcare, similarly, the inflows to the government in terms of Medisave contributions plus the interest on all the Medisave account balances exceeds almost every year government operating expenditure on healthcare and the withdrawals from Medisave to pay for medical expenses and premiums.
Okay, to put this simply, after all the headache arguments, it's one thing. Can you survive on 1,200 or 1,300 a month, right? Net that you take home. So it's very simple. If you do your own calculations, you have your own answers. And if you can do that, then you know whether what is the crux of the issue, right? Yeah, whether it's rental or food or transport that's the issue, right? So cost of living is very important, mainly contributed by the unbridled rise and uncontrolled rise in property prices. So of course, we're not suggesting that property prices go down, but we can say it can maintain at a very slow increase rate so that both the people with existing properties and both the people who want to buy properties actually can afford them. Yeah. So and this will not lead to too high stress cost of living for Singaporeans.
Yeah, Michael just mentioned HDB. I mean, it's crazy, right? After decades of asset enhancement policy, you buy HDB, show me money. All of a sudden, in March 2017, the minister says, oh, don't forget, after 99 years, your HDB becomes worthless, right? So there are almost you're looking at like almost a million HDB flats. So what happens is, at the end of 99 years, your flat is worthless. The CPF you use for the flat is gone. The cash you use for the flat also gone. I mean, in what other country you have a system where your public housing is one of the most expensive in the world, right? And yet, at the end of the 99-year lease, everything goes out in smoke.
So essentially, the way how I would look at it, back to numbers and the HDB, 99 years is 1,188 months of lease or rental or which is being paid ahead of time. You're taking up a HDB loan or bank loan to pay up for a so-called long-term leasehold which depreciates, and you're paying interest to the HDB or the bank which you borrow from for leasing or for rental. Must be uniquely Singapore and first in the world, to come up with this scheme. So I actually also watched your live show on how to solve this problem of one thing is the resale flats to stop PRs, but to only make it to existing citizens or new citizens for purchase, right? Yeah. So that if let's say you add in the PRs into the pool, the demand goes up and the price goes up, and as such, it's a cycle of like the new flats being pegged to the old existing flats, resale flats prices, and being factored back into the BTO prices, which is forever the cycle keeps going up in price. So I would like to mention that from my take of it is, I would like to stop. Let's say if you're born in Singapore, you can buy a HDB BTO flat. In new citizens, let them buy resale. Your take on that?
Well, this one I don't quite agree because you don't want a system where you keep on making it more complicated. Then you tweak here, you tweak there. So I will say if in the first place, some humble suggestions. If you don't allow PRs, right, to buy HDB flats, okay, that will start to, mitigate part of the problem. And if you gradually reduce the land cost, which is now being charged at market rates, which is estimated to be maybe about 55% of the price of BTO, if gradually you start reducing this over time, then slowly as you turn the lever, the other levers will turn. This humongous HDB problem that we have will slowly, go away.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree, like, because of the technicality and the complexity, you just have to lever one part or the other, and then eventually there will be like a downstream, upstream river flow or some sort like a snowball theory for the other levers to work out as per how they should be working out, like when you click on one place and another effect. And I mean, it was pretty interesting to see why Singaporeans have no cash flow is because most of the time, out of the employer and employees contribution, let's say you earn about $1,000, 20% from the your own contribution goes into the CPF. Employer contributes another 17%, so that's about a 170,000 for every 1,000. So if you factor in, it's actually 1.17, and then your take home is only 800. So people do not have enough cash flow where everything is high, the cost is high, and despite having all this money put aside into the CPF, the scheme of which is used for public housing, which is used for MediSave segment and all, I agree with you very strongly that the out-of-pocket expenditure is high.
It's very sad, if you look at the Leong Center or Leong Foundation SMU study that came out last year, and this is a study based on pre-COVID-19, 2019 statistics. According to a study, about 1 in 10 households actually don't have enough money to eat, so it's very sad, right? Let me give you an analogy, we talk, we debate, and then we look at the numbers. It's like, you look at a dam, and then every time you see a small leak in one part of the dam, you go and, go and patch it up, okay? So I think a lot of what we are doing today is we're patching a little here, a little there, but we need to look at the overall design of the dam and of future dams, right? Otherwise, this problem keeps getting bigger and bigger, right? We cannot just throw the can down the road. We cannot say that the main, policy solution to the 99-year lease becomes zero is versus voluntary en-bloc redevelopment scheme, which will only start in 20 years' time. What will you do for the next 20 years? Right, you already can see from the statistics that generally, as your flat becomes more than 40 years old, the price starts to decline.
And I mean, partly because this was based on a scheme called the Bala scheme. Going by a straight line scheme, right? Let's say if you purchase a new flat 99 years and it declines gradually through 99 years, that means every month it just goes down gradually, sit from 99.
Come here very good, always halfway
through
they cut off the picture.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was telling, it's because of the Bala scheme of the HDB flat, the Bala's table, it's not gradual from day one, it's not a linear downward stream. It is like suddenly 40 years goes on and suddenly the bank pulls the brakes of not giving you a loan, or HDB does not give you a loan, and suddenly you feel it's like the price goes up and suddenly you feel a drop, which is like, the hard drop, the type.
The graph, it's a curve. It's actually not a linear progression, but a curve. And the curve starts to go down about 40 to 60 years. If you're not wrong, 60.
Yeah, around the halfway mark, you don't get enough bank loan to buy new flats, you don't get bank loan to buy resale flats. The bank restricts the lending. yeah, that's where the trouble.
Actually, if you look at before March 2017, before the minister's announcement that reminding people that HDB flat become worthless after 9 years, before that, historically, you see HDB flat prices almost increase perpetually right? Even as they get older than 40 years. Of course, because in the past, you have been told asset enhancement policy, and most people, they say, now what's the problem, right? As my flat get old, I will get SERS, selective en bloc redevelopment, right? But March 2017 is the turning point, right? Where you find that flats over 40 years start to decline in value.
So this was a perpetuation of the previous promise whereby we were told that HDB flats will rise in value over time, but as long as
Don't go away. I'm going to say something about you. Today I'm very happy, because I met this. I think better don't say a name now. You tell you. This 18-year-old boy, right? He asked me to pass him my phone, and then he solved all my problems for me. Like now, whenever I paste on, I put a post on Facebook, automatically you go to Twitter and Instagram. It's amazing, right? Thank you so much. I'm sorry I cannot mention. But what's amazing is this 18-year-old boy, right? He tells me that 10 years ago, he was listening to my Chinese radio show every Tuesday morning, the morning radio show. 10 years ago, and he's only like, he was 8, 9, or 10 years old. So he's actually behind the camera. Thank you very much. You're the best thing I've met in my 2-year, 4-month ordeal. The boy very shy. I hope one day you can get to see him and hear him on camera, but maybe he has to go and talk to his parents first. Where did he manage to find such a great guy, Michael?
We update you later, but it's not an issue, right? As long as there's a will, there's always a way, right? Heaven has its own way of working things, right? So it's just providence, I suppose.
I mean, it's similar of how we all got to know each other, I got to know Uncle Leong 10 years ago at Hong Lim Park, the first few Labor Day so-called get-together, or I wouldn't even call it a rally. Those days was like so few people, but about few hundred people come, very small.
I still remember, I attended Prabu when you organized your first rally by yourself. I know you were speaking like, other people rally. When you attended your first one, then I went to see, I think like 20 people here. I was telling this story, my good friends, Royman and Haniri, these two are, very funny. They decided to hold a monthly protest at Hong Lim Park late in 2013. So they started organizing a monthly protest at Hong Lim Park. We started in November 2013. And the first protest was on HDB, I think you remember. Only about 20 people came. By the time they had almost like the last protest in June 2014, I think it was the largest crowd ever, like 6,000 people. Then of course, in May 2014, 1 month before this biggest protest ever, Royman was sued for defamation, and he apologized and made an offer for compensation because the demand was for him to apologize and made an offer of compensation. So he apologized, offered 5,000 compensation. It was rejected, and because of that, he had summary judgment. He had no trial. At least I had a trial. He only had a 3-day hearing to assess damages, and he had to pay 150,000 damages and 30,000 costs. I'm very happy for Roy because he had to leave Singapore to work in Taiwan, and now after 5 years, I'm so happy that he was able to crowdfund the balance of his 144,000 damages because he was supposed to pay $1,000 a month for the next 12 years, starting from last month. The first 5 years he was paying $100 a month. So that's the only part story that people like Prabu, people, and of course, Gilbert and Anili, of course, in the July 2014 was charged with and found guilty subsequently of organizing an illegal protest at the only place where you can legally protest in the world. So of course, that made I think at that time she was like 24 years old or 23 years old. World famous, she represented Singapore at the World Summit of Human Rights Defenders in Paris, I think in 2019. And she's also the first Singaporean to be awarded an 8-month fellowship as a Human Rights Fellow at the University of York Center for Applied Human Rights in the UK. So it looks like these two good friends, the tide has turned. Things are working out very well for them. Of course, I'm really happiest. She got 2 babies now, right? One, and listen to this, her first child, 1 year old plus, the name is called Justice. And the second child, who's now a few months old, the name is called Magnanimous. And she brought the children to my trial, and we actually allowed her to bring one of the babies into the court. And the baby was quiet. This baby was very nice, never make much not private. But after a while, on the last day of the trial, day 3, all of a sudden he got a beat. So the judge was very nice. Whether you bring him out first, then when you come down, you can bring him back. The one that cried in court one is called Justice. Oops, Justice is his name.
So, I mean, it has come a long way from those times when myself, Alex Tan Xiang, who, I don't know what is his situation and status right now. He's in Australia, and I don't think he can come back. From Gilbert Goh, yourself, the first few things that times that we organized at Hong Lim Park versus like now, it is now of course the last 2 years we cannot go to Hong Lim Park already, or else iconically every Labor Day first, May 1st, Gilbert Goh or someone else will organize something, and most of the time we end up speaking there. The last one we spoke there was, if I'm not mistaken, 18 or 19. Then after that, 2020 was COVID year, and this year is 2021, a second year in a row that Hong Lim Park has been closed because of the COVID measures.
Well, I just have to add, I come from a slightly different background. I didn't join the Hong Lim Park protesters or whatever because, those were the early days of democracy development in Singapore. And now as we get to a more mature and more sober democracy, I believe, if you want any effective action, like any normal opposition party members, they would basically just go to the ballot board and make their choice and put in the votes, because perhaps the environment there was a bit more closed up. We didn't have so much social media. We couldn't talk about issues as much, and to get to a reasonable intellectual level, So that was why probably the developments had taken place then, right? So I'm more of the newer generation. We like to talk about issues, discuss them, and make our choice at the ballot box. So that's the newer generation as it is. Okay.
I've spoken at Hong Lim Park maybe about 30 times. So you cannot sleep at night. You just Google YouTube Leong Sze Hian Hong Lim Park, that you watch. I guarantee you within 10 minutes you'll be fast asleep. Actually, the first time that they allowed what you call the relaxed protest policy for Hong Lim Park was in September, if I remember correctly, 2010 or something. And at that time, I was with the Online Citizen. We actually had the distinction honor of holding the first Hong Lim Park protest under protest.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the MRT and bus fare protest. Yeah, I remember that. When the fare went up, and I think we did a couple of public transport and water hike and electricity. We did a few. Yeah.
I think you remember every nature policy issue we have protested as Hong Lim Park.
So, with that to do, we have almost been live for 1 hour, and as usual, whenever we are online, right, the time just doesn't seem to.
A lot of people complain, say your life gets so too long.
Oh, okay, yeah, definitely, because we are having good fun and good time, so yeah, the time just doesn't seem to feel.
Old people cannot watch YouTube for more than an hour, so we still,
Right. Okay, with that to do, I thank Uncle Leong for coming down here today and for joining us and having this lively discussion. And of course, Dr. Michael Fang for co-hosting with me and Uncle Leong. Thank you.
And reminder again, at 5 p.m. today, I will be posting on my Facebook a link where you can download my ebook, Issues That Matter, Uniquely Singapore F1 or F9. I hope you will download, enjoy reading it, and I look forward to receiving your comments. Thank you very much, everybody.
And before I sign off, I'd like to tell you guys to like, comment, and share this if you're seeing this, and appealing for crowdfunding donations to help Uncle Leong towards the remaining 130,000, so it's about 70,000 remaining. So continue donating, even if it's as little as $1 per day till he actually reaches this. And not just donate, make sure you share it off Instagram, Telegram, Facebook, any and all available platforms. Alright, with that to do, till you guys join us the next time on our next show. Signing off, Prabu, Dr. Michael Fang, and Uncle Leong Sze Hian. Bye guys, take care.